Well, the first thing you need for a snowstorm is the cold air, and we certainly have that. It's been sticking around now for the past several days. Temperatures have been running below normal. Today, no exception. After last night's light coating of snow moved out, it kind of set the stage for a cold night. Temperatures dipped down into the teens in the early morning hours and only rebounded to just a few degrees above freezing at BWI Marshall. Actually, a couple degrees cooler than what we were expecting this afternoon. So again, it is certainly cold enough for snow, and you can see all across the state now we're at or below freezing. From 31 on the beach at Ocean City to just 14 in Oakland. Head up into southern PA, mid-20s up that way. Cecil County checks in around Elkton right at the freezing point at 32 degrees. And that's why conditions are ripe for a powerful storm to move up the coast. We've got blizzard warnings west of the bay and into southern Maryland. Blizzard watches in the yellow shaded area here over on the eastern shore. And all that really just means is we've got a big old storm coming with a lot of wind that could hamper travel here, especially on Saturday. Here's the storm right now. It's a rainmaker. In fact, it's more spring-like than winter-like at this hour, producing thunderstorms and a tornado threat on the Gulf Coast. So severe weather threat, but that kind of just gives you an indication for the strength of this storm. It's a very strong jet stream driving underneath this storm system that'll take it over toward the eastern seaboard and then move up the east coast into the cold air. And that's when we start to be more concerned with it. It looks like the timing is moved up an hour or two. I've always been thinking that this would really kick in after sunset. Now it looks like it'll probably get here toward the end or toward the middle part of the evening rush hour, especially in D.C., up to Baltimore by about 5 or 6, and then up into the northeastern corner of the state about 6 or 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. And then they'll just get progressively worse tomorrow night with strong winds, heavy snow, and same thing on Saturday night. In fact, this doesn't really move out of here until the wee hours of the morning on Sunday. Before sunrise on Sunday morning, the last of the flurry should be winding down and the storm system moves off the coast and pulls away. Later in the day Sunday, looking forward to some sunshine, but it's going to be breezy and cold. There'll be a lot of snow on the ground to finish up the weekend. We're holding to this forecast on the low end, 12 inches, on the high end, maybe 18 to 24 inches around the Baltimore area. And then you get into that 2 to 3 feet of snow up in the mountains of western Virginia. It'll be interesting to see the snow reports that come out of that part of the world. They look like they are in the jackpot area for snowfall. And then as Tony was mentioning before, it's not just the snow, but where wind is concerned. That's why the blizzard warning is issued, not for the depth of the snow, but for the reduced visibility due to strong wind gusts. This computer model is indicating 58, 55, 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, not steady winds, but at least some gust up to that. As those winds come across the open waters of the bay, there'll be very strong wind gusts on the western shore, and maybe even gusting over 40 miles an hour all the way back to Frederick. Saturday morning looks like it'll be really tough. So with snow on the ground and those kind of winds, visibilities get reduced to under a quarter mile, and that's why the blizzard warning is in effect. So tonight, clear and cold, the calm before the storm, 16 to 23. Tomorrow, might even see a little peek at the sun in the morning, and then it clouds up in the afternoon, and the snow really kicks in as we go into tomorrow night. Heavy snowfall accumulations Friday night, Saturday morning, 12 to 24 inches by the time it all winds down. Sunday, we get some sunshine. It'll be breezy and cold at 35. Monday, above freezing, but then a rain-snow mixture possible on Tuesday.
I'm ABC meteorologist Mike Masco. Tuesday weather blog. Want to update you on the latest with the storm. Our storm snowfall forecast from yesterday looks like it's going to verify pretty nicely. We have the new 12Z model runs in, so I'll show you what they're showing you. But some revisions now to the winter storm alerts. We have a winter storm warning for northern Baltimore County, Carroll County, and as you go towards Frederick County and points west into Hagerstown. You hop over the PA side, we still have winter storm watches from York County on points north. I think that may be updated to a winter storm warning. That office is just a little slow to issue these, but they'll probably make the revisions as we go into the afternoon hours. Still Philadelphia under winter storm watches, New York City Metro under a winter storm watch, and then you have winter storm warnings North Jersey and then into the lower Hudson Valley and into Connecticut. As far as Baltimore City is concerned, winter weather advisory. Advisory just means that we're not expecting a tremendous amount of snow, but travel concerns due to slickened up roadways are certainly going to be possible as we go into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. So let's take a look at the storm right now on Maryland's most powerful weather radar, because there's a couple of interesting features we're watching. First off, you notice again a stationary boundary sitting right off the coast, still close enough to allow for our daytime highs today to get into the low 50s, but we're watching this piece of energy across the Great Lakes. What this will do is start to dig into this system a bit, kind of infuse a storm or infuse the southern jet stream and allow for a storm to develop down here and roll up towards the north. And again, the question is, when do you see that merge of the northern and southern jet stream to allow for this storm to explode? Is it south of Ocean City, or is it just off of Cape Cod? And is that a New England type of storm, or is this an entire mid-Atlantic into New England storm? And that's kind of the question that we have to fine tune over the next several hours, and that's when we break into what's called nowcasting versus forecasting. You just have to watch your players come together and see how this is all going to, come together. If it's a system that develops further down to the south, it's a stronger system, and we have more dynamics in play. Certainly going to have more colder air, and thus you have more snow. But of course, if it's a storm further to the north, that's when you're talking about a great storm for the outer boroughs of New York City as you get into Connecticut, Massachusetts, and then into eastern New England. But again, 2 players on the boards, one over the Great Lakes, southern jet stream energy coming together. And the question is, where are we going to get that storm to form? In fact, if you look at some of the forecast models, there's some indications this storm may pop a little bit further towards the south. So future weather, I want to show you the new GFS versus last night's European. Kind of synced up the time, so this is about right on. GFS showing right into this. GFS is actually the green coloring, so it's showing the low developing and deepening just off of Ocean City, while the European's pretty much similar in that area. But we now are going to shift our focus more towards the NAM, the RPN models. The SRES will start to come into play. These are our short-range models, which picks up the dynamics and picks up the convective potentials as we go into the storm for tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. So we'll show you the NAM. This is the 12Z that just came out, showing some pretty good rains coming down Wednesday morning, moderate rains. You notice that the cold air trying to work in across Deep Creek and southwestern Pennsylvania. So we'll start to see high elevation segue over to snow. And by, say, Wednesday afternoon around 1 o'clock, you're going to notice the rain-snow line dropping quickly into the 95 corridor. In here are some pretty good elevations. So you get into the 600, 700-foot elevations here in western Maryland. And right in this pocket in particular, just south of, I think it's Chambersburg, you could be talking about some S-plus snow, some really good, convective bandings of snow developing. And that's why the NAM has produced more snow in the recent couple runs we've seen. The 0Z, the 6Z, and the 12Z has really went gangbusters on snow projections. So if you're watching the Weather Channel and you're seeing some pretty aggressive snowfall forecasts, which I still think they are pretty aggressive or too aggressive, you're looking at the NAM. And again, the NAM sometimes overdoes it, but might be onto a solution. So we'll have to watch that pretty closely. And then the precipitation's ending by the early evening hours, 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, most of this wrapping up, and there could be some residual snow showers. What I'll be watching is these what we call vertical velocity maps at 700 millibars. This indicates how much lift will be available in the atmosphere, and the stronger the lift, the better indication of higher snowfall rates. Higher snowfall rates will overcome that warm boundary layer. So this is showing some pretty good lift across central Maryland. This is D.C., Baltimore's right in here, and then northwestern suburbs. Look at this, these minus 20s showing up. An indication of some very, very good lift in there. That's from the NAM, and the GFS is even more gangbusters. As you're seeing a quick development, the quick short wave we showed you over the Great Lakes digging into this system. So that's what we're going to have to watch. If I'm going to make revisions to our last night's snowfall forecast, it might be higher for our northwestern suburbs, but if I were to give a base number, 6 is probably the best base number. Here's the new 12Z NAM. It's showing, again, about 3 inches inside the Baltimore-D.C. Beltway. I think that might be a little overdone because, as we know, 95 is usually the cutoff. So north of that, you'll see about a couple of inches. You get north of that northwest side of the Beltway, the NAM's trying to spit out around 3 inches of snow, and you get into 4-inch amounts. And then right in here, as you see the pinks, this is a coloring of around 3 to 6 inches, and some bullseye where you see high elevation around York County, Dallastown, and then you get back up in here. That's when you're talking about 8, 9 inches of snow. That's now per the NAM. If you take the liquid equivalent of 10-to-1 ratio, so for every 1 inch of pure liquid rain, at freezing, you'd get 10 inches of snow. So I'd have to assume that we're talking about 7 and 8, to 1 ratio. So if you kind of cut those numbers down, you get around 6 inches of snow as you get north and west of I-83, and then north of 70 in central Maryland. And then you expand this back into Lehigh Valley, northwestern Jersey. This is 6, 10, maybe 11 inches of snow. The GFS also showing pretty similar solution here. Here's the 1 inch line right in here, so this runs through 95. This is all slush, by the way. North and west of that, 2 and 3 inches, and then this is a line of around 5 inches here with 6-inch bullseye down across the Shenandoah Valley. So pretty similar to the NAM. You look at the European, very similar as well to the NAM, showing 4, 5, 6-inch amounts in here with pops around 9 inches. But again, that's an assumption of a 10-to-1 ratio. And we know that it's been pretty mild, so we can't assume that 10-to-1 ratio. In fact, this is spitting out max amount of 10.3. So again, you know, you're probably talking about around 8-inch snowfall forecast in there. The RPM, which has been very, very tardy for the party, is just been spitting out weird numbers. This is the most aggressive run I've seen, 2 to 4 inches, but the latest run has been a dusting to an inch. So I'm going to have to discard that at this time. I would like to see the RPM fall into some kind of a category, but it's just not there. All right, so the morning, this is the breakdown again I used last night on ABC News at 6 o'clock. Morning hours of the city, rain. You're going to see a rain-snow mixture in northwestern suburbs. By lunchtime, I think it's a moderate snow northwestern suburbs. The city, you will start to mix in some flakes. And by the evening, reduced visibilities, slushy secondary roadways in the city, and you could start to coat up the roadways north and west of town. Just be aware of that. One last snowfall forecast map I want to show you is our in-house Adonis model. This is a NAM base, but it is tweaked by Weather Central, our weather provider. Showing around a solid 2 inches here in Baltimore, 2 inches in Joppa. You get north and west of that, you get into the 4 and 5 inch amounts. So we have a pretty good consensus on this forecast map we made last night, showing a good solid slushy coating along the 95 corridor into the eastern shore. You get into the 1 and 3 inch amounts across central Baltimore County, southern Baltimore County, central Harford County, central Cecil County, and then down towards the Loudoun County and northwestern suburb of D.C. And then you ramp up 3 to 6 inches and then 3-6 possible as you get into our northwestern suburbs. If I were to make a revision, I'd probably drop this 6-inch amount down a little bit more, and then certainly shift these numbers down into New York City. I think New York City is probably going to pick up around 4 inches of snow. This 1 to 3 may be pushed into the Monmouth County, Ocean County line. And then Philadelphia still like the idea of around 1 to 3 inches down towards northern Newcastle County and Lancaster County. Lancaster County, western Lancaster County, and southeastern Pennsylvania, probably around 3 and 4 inches of snow. So revision-wise, we'll work on this. Take a look at my Facebook and Twitter later this afternoon. I just want to see the new European before I make a final call. By the way, again, regardless of what's falling out of the sky with the precipitation reduced visibility, there are a moderate potential of travel impacts and significant and severe travel impacts for our northwestern counties into the Lehigh Valley. And again, where you see the severe indicators, that's where you could see an upwards of around 6 to as much as a foot of snow. And by foot of snow, I'm kind of emphasizing that more so over northwestern Jersey into the Lehigh Valley. All right, that's it for now. I will talk again with you on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll have a very important update tonight on ABC2 News at 5 and 6 o'clock. Have a great day.
It's a weekend wallop that could be remembered as the storm of a lifetime in some parts of the mid-Atlantic.
This is a lot of snow.
Snowfall totals hovering around 2 feet in the nation's capital gave new meaning to the term White House, which almost blended in with the blizzard-like conditions. Along the National Mall, cars and tour buses were replaced with cross-country skiers looking for a whole new way to take in the city.
We definitely were not going to pass up this chance to get to ski on the mall and take pictures and see the monuments covered in snow and stuff like that.
While it was a picture-perfect moment for some, the storm has caused major problems. Flights were canceled at major airports across the region. At Virginia's Dulles Airport, the weight of the snow collapsed a hangar, damaging some private jets inside. In Washington, a church roof fell in, but no one was hurt. Plow crews like this one in Maryland struggled to keep major interstates passable. Nearly 27 inches fell in Philadelphia Saturday, marking the city's second biggest snowfall in recorded history. That record had just been broken 6 weeks ago by a pre-Christmas storm. Back in Washington, some folks relieved the stress of 2 major storms in one snowy season with a good old-fashioned snowball fight. But for the president, it was a working weekend. He spoke to a Democratic National Committee meeting and gave a memorable name for a storm that will be remembered for ages.
Snowmageddon here in D.C.
Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Media Watch with Walter Cronkite. Return with me now to May 31st, the year 2000. A Wednesday, but it could be any day, for it is another day like all days, filled with the events that once again drive one of the 25 most influential personages in this nation to the brink of murder. Yes, this morning, we approach a familiar media figure splayed across the Media Watch journey of investigation. The flab-filled carcass and fish belly butt of Don Imus, blustery brute of broadcast, host of the Imus in the Morning radio program, and antagonist of incompetence wherever and whenever it rears its foul head. And rear its foul head it does in the day-to-day tedium that is the I-Man's life. While Hamilton Jordan suggests it in jest, the I-Man really could write a book entitled Never a Good Day. What is the now near constant source of Imus's discontent? It is the American service industry, the trades, contract workers, craftspersons, the people with whom, truth be told, many, if not most of us, are acquainted, who patch our roofs, decorate our parlors, pave our driveways, and yank our chains. Indeed, the people who, metaphorically speaking, give us an estimate and a guarantee, and then grudge us against the very kitchen counter we called them in to replace, grinding away our time, our budgets, and our patience until we're whipped, worn down to keening little nubs of desperation, willing to do anything, pay anything, to get the bastards out of the house. That is the condition of most of us, but not all of us. Let's probe for a moment the dark recesses of the I-Man laid out here before us in full colonoscopic glory. As I snap on my rubber glove to begin the examination, I feel confident in predicting what I'm about to find here. Yes, there it is. I've just withdrawn, well, the expected bouquet of flowers, the wristwatch, the habit trail, and yes, this item, the sign whose unequivocal message states, "Don't tread on me." Here we have what this old investigator of injustice, malfeasance, and outrage calls the great contractor conundrum, which is simply this. While you and I can get screwed by these people and must simply suffer in silence, why in the world would they seek to do the same to John Donald Imus, who has as his life's guiding motto, "Get mad and get even"? Neither you nor I have recourse in these situations. We emerge Reginald Denny-like, brains caved in with, appropriately, a cinder block. But once in a while, a noble hero emerges, through which we, the oppressed, can live vicariously. A Don Imus and his 15 million member army, before whom he can lay bare the builder who won't build, the paver who won't pave, the plumber who won't plumb, the decorator who won't decorate. The conundrum again? Why would these lowlifes and malcontents challenge him? Don't they ever listen to the show? You and I may have to roll over, but he eats contractors. Cross the I-Man, and you won't be paving sewer grates. You won't get a gig hanging curtains in latrines. Fair or not, it is the power of privilege. It's media might. Stated simply, it's juice. The I-Man's got it, you don't. He uses it, you can't. So the matter is stated. Provoke the I-Man at your peril, tradesman. You could wind up in the Imus Ranch Foundation. And in this case, I don't mean the charity. Enough said. For Media Watch, this is Walter Cronkite. Thank you and good night.
Sitting on a throne with a microphone, tirade, diatribe in a baritone, foaming at the mouth like a maniac. Pitbull jaws lock in the attack, ranting and raving about his power and clout, on a prowl for a target he can take out. Lambs to the slaughter for the sacrifice. Don't look him in the eye or you pay the price, cause ain't no reputation he won't impugn. Luminaries, politicians, nobody's immune. Network head or just yuppie slime. If there's blood in the water, then it's feeding time. Ain't no secret that you can conceal. The more he make it squirm, and the better he feel. As President Clinton or Peter Moss, they'll tell you who the boss. Every small mistake, put your life at stake. You won't get a break. I'm as dissing you. No matter what you say, he'll blow you away. Much to your dismay, you're his helpless prey. I'm as dissing you. Looking for a life that he can disrupt. waiting for some big mouth, big wig to slip up. Show him a weakness, the fear he smelled, then makes about his morning to live in hell. Got a lot of snaps in his bag of tricks. Do a number on you, cause his is 666. Ain't no witness for your prosecution, cause he's judge, jury, and executioner. If I was you, I would plead the fifth, or drive my car off the very next cliff. But don't come up with some lame excuse, cause you just asking for more abuse. If you say something that you shouldn't have said, you'll be consumed with feelings of dread. Roll the dice with him, you're gonna lose. Start singing the blues. Every you make, every small mistake, put your life at stake. You won't get a break. I'm dissing you. No matter what you say, he'll blow you away. All you can do is pray that he'll pass away. Our man's dissing you. Every slip you find more moments when his life is over. You'll dance, I'm on his grave. No matter what you say, we'll pass away. He'll blow you away. All you can do is pray that we'll pass away. Our man's dissing you. Every night we pray there will come a day.
Did you come in and put money in Merle Haggard's hat?
I did.
Oh, no, you didn't. You're kidding. And Merle Haggard put his hat on. He said, well, there's money falling out of my hat. Why did you do that?
Well, I looked in the window and I felt sorry for the guy.
You're lucky he didn't punch you in the mouth. What are you, nuts?
You did.
You're about the dumbest bastard I've ever met.
He looked like he had just been singing at Penn Station. So.
It's Merle Haggard, you moron.
I know.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
It was the visual that got me. I just, hey,
Help a guy out. See a guy down on his luck like that? I know.
with the guitar and, hey, here you go, bro. If I had a cigarette, I would have thrown that in there, too.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Let the I-Man talk to you about the Fujifilm Fine Pix 40i digital.
Under 7 to 5. Play action. Manning slings it. Touchdown Manningham. And a quick strike after the takeaway. A 4-yard touchdown throw, and Eli Manning with 3 touchdown passes on the afternoon and evening. Play action. They get the linebackers up. A.J. Hawk is the only guy then who can really make a play on that underneath, but Eli waits for Manningham to get to the next window, and he's got to step in on Tremont Williams, and a great throw by Eli Manning. And this extra point makes it a 3-score game. First the fumble, and it was Kenny Phillips that knocked it out. And then Eli Manning, his 3rd touchdown pass. What a day. He's got some good ones here at Laurel. And his Green Bay offense. There have been 7 drops, including one not too long ago by Greg Jennings, officially ruled a drop. This miss on a 3rd down. And then Rodgers sacked on 4th on Christmas night against Chicago. This one's knocked out. Jason Pierre-Paul got a hand on it. And this defensive effort has been outstanding by the New York Giants. Well, they have. And you know that the Green Bay Packers, when this one's over, they're going to look back and you see. Think of what could have been, but a lot of that has to do with the way that the Giants have played also. This is an offense that's more and more frustrated with that inability to do so. 2nd down and 10. Rodgers has to come underneath, and slipping and falling is Ryan Grant, now 3rd down and 10. Rodgers needs a completion. Gets around Human Europe. Can't find anywhere getting up. There is a flag down in that area.
Roughing the passer, number 72 defense. Go to the head, first down.
Now that's a huge call. It gives Green Bay a fresh set of downs. They said blow to the head. And that personal foul will move the ball forward 15 yards, and instead of fourth down, it's first down.
That's amazing right there. I don't know where the blow to the head is. Human Europe barely hit him. It was just that once he did, then he fell into tuck, and Bill Levy is right there watching the quarterback.
And now on first down, Rodgers throws it away. A little too high and wide for Jordy Nelson, and Rodgers is just simply this offense. That personal foul called on the hit to Aaron Rodgers. Here's one blocked by Jordy Nelson. And it's been that kind of day really from the beginning for this Packer offense.
It's hard to explain, really. I mean, we talked about it in that first quarter.
For the second time in this game, an onside kick try that does not work for the Green Bay Packers and Victor Cruz, who's been so good for the Giants this season, is there to recover for New York.
And thankfully for the New York Giants, Spencer Paysinger, he was there. He was the first guy, number 55, that could have secured.
Conversion. It's Victor Cruz, good for 17 yards. And that could very well seal the Giants' trip to San Francisco.
We got Charles Woodson there, and Akeem Hicks draws him up on his shallow crossing route, and that opened up a nice window then for Eli Manning in behind it to Victor Cruz. A nice third down conversion. And, you know, Eli Manning, the numbers speak for themselves, but I think he's done really managed the situation and has done an excellent job.
And he's made some big completions on third down. Here's Bradshaw just trying to hang on to the ball and now has room to run. Ahmad Bradshaw down near the 10. Brought down by Clay Matthews after going around Raji, a gain of 24. And one of the Packers is slow to get up. That's Pepra. And a big run by Bradshaw. Here's the missed tackle by Raji.
Yeah, you get into this situation of the game, and clearly the Packers know that they're going to run the ball. Bradshaw is going to get it, but you know they've really broken the spirit here of the Green Bay Packers by everything that has happened. And to go back to what I
Warriors, and they have done it here today, leading by 17 with 2.5 to go.
Well, here's the run. They're just going to run it. Started anyway, off tackle to the left, but Brandon Jacobs cuts it back. The only one then left to make the play is Charles Woodson, but Tom Coughlin has been unusually calm during this game. And heck, he even had something to smile about. When you think about it, Joe, teams just are not supposed to come into Lambeau Field and beat the Packers reinvigorated the franchise. And with a combination of Coughlin and 7, but another well-played good game. The Giants showed something that day as Human Europe gets the sack. And he adds to his streak, as many sacks as games played this season. You remember that game? The Giants were coming off that win at New England and almost got over at San Francisco. Boy, did the 49ers show something yesterday. That is a hard-hitting defense. This catch is made, no fumble, and the ball came out when Starks hit the ground. We're at the 2-minute warning here at Lambeau. What a day for Eli Manning and the Giants, leading by 17. 1:56 left of last year. With a minute 56 remaining, 3rd down and 15. And the pass is batted in the air and intercepted by the Giants and Deion Grant. And this has been a smothering, overwhelming effort by the Giants defense against a team that averaged 35 points per game offensively this season. Another turnover. As we look at the replay, and what a catch by Deion Grant. Really nice play there by Deion Grant. I think the assist should go to Michael Boley, who had an opportunity the first time, and then Deion Grant comes in and is able to secure the interception, and now we'll see Eli Manning just take a knee. How about the Giant defense? 4 takeaways, 4 sacks. No timeouts remaining. The Green Bay Packers, the defending Super Bowl champions, will not make the conference championship game next week. You have to go back to 2004 to find the last time a Super Bowl champ in either conference got back to the championship game the following season. That streak will continue. And the Giants and their turnaround defensively has been remarkable under Perry Fuel and Tom Coughlin. Well, it's going to be a long offseason for the Green Bay Packers and Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. And, you know, when you have the season that they have, to put yourself in a position to be the number 1 seed throughout the playoffs and not be able to do anything with it, and more importantly, to look back on this game and know that you didn't give your best effort. Probably the worst performance the Packers have had all season long. You know, of course, we know they only lost the 1 game. But this is going to be a hard one to swallow, and one that they won't forget. This is 3rd down, so 1 more snap. And just to give you the numbers, the Giants defense, the first 14 games, the team had a record of 7-7. They were allowing 385 yards per game, 27 points per game. The turnaround the last 4 games has been nothing short of remarkable. And the Giants have advanced to the NFC Championship game with this win here at Lambeau. They'll take on the 49ers next Sunday night. We'll take a break and come back here and wrap up a big day for the Giants who celebrated Lambeau. Back after this.
And you pick against us.
Right. That's what you're hoping for.
Hey, Rob, I'll do you one better. If the Giants win the Super Bowl, I'll quit the job.
Well, that's good, too. But I was saying, when you have to wear your...
Blah, blah, blah. This is what you're saying. This is what everyone hears right now, Rob. Blah, 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 blah,
No,
blah.
I hear it. It's all good, Robbie. Don't you worry about it. Oh, I can tell you, though.
Blah, 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 blah.
When he has to wear his Speedo, don't walk over the Brooklyn Bridge. Jump off.
All right. Blah,
well, here you go.
blah,
That's
blah,
right.
blah,
Let's calm down, everybody.
That's what I just got from that guy. Blah, blah, blah. It's
But
like
here's
the
the
teacher
deal.
in Peanuts.
You know,
Wah, wah,
the last
wah.
time you said, well, if the Giants win the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
I'm going to do something.
I did it.
You did it.
Right.
Now you just said, if the Giants win the Super Bowl, you'll give up this job.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking of the future.
Boomer Esiason. Boomer Esiason. On Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
Giants are going to win the Super Bowl.
Boomer,
Dude, every
Boomer.
time you do that,
I guess I probably wouldn't
Every
beat the
time
job.
you do that, you stick your foot in your mouth.
Giants are not winning the Super Bowl.
God, dude, calm down.
Let's not get crazy.
We have a long way to
Boomer.
Thank you. I'm just telling you, with this defensive line, they
That's
can beat
great.
anybody they play.
Listen, Just get through after the bye week. Come back and talk to me when December starts.
All right. Well, we'll see because they'll have to ramp it up because they'll be playing Drew Brees, they'll be playing Aaron Rodgers,
That's right.
They'll see Michael Vick again.
Tom Brady.
They'll see Tom Brady, Tony Romo.
Rex Grossman, who owns them.
Come on.
Let's not forget.
Listen, I will say this. Much like I would say in case of the Jets, it's early. The Jets are going through some major injuries right now. They're still trying to figure out who they are. The Giants got out to a start that we thought that they would get out to. No question.
I mean, we're the guys, me included, that said they'd be at least 4-2.
We thought they were going to be 4-0 at this point, to be honest with you.
No, I didn't. I thought they'd lose to the Eagles. I never thought they'd go to Philly and win that game. Let's not lie.
I'll tell you, I'm telling you guys.
At no point did you think the Giants were going to be 4-0,